Welcome to the Configure Price Quote Podcast. My name is Frank Sohn and I'm the founder of CPQ Consulting. This podcast is 100% focused on Configure Price Quote, also known as CPQ, and will provide you useful insights into this topic. My guest today is Rohit Chhabra, Chief Product Officer at Conga. Rohit is responsible for the vision, design, and delivery of Conga's products and commerce platform. He brings more than 25 years of experience in product, technology, and growth leadership across B2B software and information service companies. Before joining Conga in 2025, he held senior roles at several technology companies, including Omnigo, Central Square Technology, W Energy Software, Intel, and Wolters Kluwer. Rohit is based in Miami, Florida. Very excited to have him today as a guest. Rohit, welcome to the CPQ podcast.
Thank you, Frank.
And Rohit, let's maybe just start to let us understand a little bit more what you did before you joined Conga here 10, 11 months ago.
I was focused on working on product and technology, strategy development and roadmap across multiple different industries. I worked in government technology as well as public administration software and public safety software, and also oil and gas software and security software as well.
Excellent. So you obviously have a huge experience, right? And not just in business process, but also in engineering. So I'm wondering, how does that engineering mindset shape the way you think about enterprise software?
Yeah, engineering mindset has given me a strong foundation of analytical skills and also think about root cause analysis and specific processes that come across that have served me really well in understanding what the challenges our customers are facing, what pain points they're suffering from, and get to the real root cause of what those issues are and address them. And I've applied that to Conga since I've joined here almost a year ago. And I've noticed that customers are suffering from a lot of process-related challenges when it comes to quoting or contracting or generating documents or getting optimized price delivered to them, and they struggle from these processes. So engineering mindset has helped me understand what those workflow challenges are and come up with solutions alongside with them, partnering with them to make sure that we deliver the right optimized commerce chain solutions for them.
Excellent. So as a chief product officer, right, what core principle guide your leadership style at Conga now?
My leadership style is of, call it participative enabler. I'm very active and involved in solving problems, working alongside with my team, with customers, not only my direct team, but also cross-functionally across customer success, sales, marketing, and pricing and other functions within the organizations to make sure that we are making the right investment decisions and also allocating our precious resources on the right focused areas to drive the most innovation that delivers the maximum business outcomes for our customers. So my philosophy is around taking those resource allocations and making sure that the right business outcomes are being realized for our customers and ourselves as well.
Got it. And when I prepared for the podcast, Rohit, I was looking obviously through your LinkedIn profile, a couple of other things, right? And I noticed that you serve as on the board of Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation and the South Florida chapter, right? What does that mission-driven work give you outside of your corporate role, and how does it influence how you think in general about leadership?
Yeah, I got involved with JDRF, and now it's called Type 1 Breakthrough T1D, as my daughter was diagnosed of type 1 diabetes when she was 4 years old. And now she's 18, she's going to college. And it's been a journey seeing the innovation that has taken place in this field, and being connected to a patient advocacy and a program like this makes it really real for me, because it not only brings a certain level of mission orientation and a great cause to solve for the industry as well as for the patients, but also it makes you realize that the urgency is real. And the same level of urgency has kind of, brought a lot of rigor in the way I approach things at work, and sometimes to a fault. I would say, because you bring a certain level of energy and urgency to solving some of these problems that customers are facing, and that has helped shape me be a better leader.
No, I think that's excellent, right? When people like you are getting involved in something like this and help to push it forward, excellent. But outside of work, when you're not working and when you're not engaged in this voluntary work, right? So, what do you do to relax to prepare for the next big task at hand?
I love working out a lot. Like I try to spend time either at the gym or play some sports. Lately, I've picked up pickleball as a new sport for me. It's definitely a good amount of physical activity and so forth that helps me stay in shape, but also mentally balanced. I read a lot as well, audiobooks as well as actual hard copy books and so forth. If I enjoy a book in audio, then I'd go buy a hard copy and actually read it back to back. And I enjoy wide variety of genres, but mostly business related books or somewhat that something that piques my curiosity from a technology perspective, and I want to learn more about a subject.
Got it. Very good. Well, just one follow-up question on this one. When you do the workouts and stuff like this, and do you also do some running? Are you in any kind of competitive running also that I have no idea? You're doing half marathons, triathlons, I have no idea. Something like that?
Oh, I do some of that, but not competitive. It's mostly for charity related work. That's back to the juvenile diabetes research. I'll do like a 5K run or other activities and so forth as necessary. But yeah, not too competitively. No.
Excellent. And I think there's a theme here for all our listeners, right? So there's a lot of the leaders who work out regularly, so that might be a thing, right? So anyway, let us start talking a little bit more about Conga. Conga has now two CPQ related product lines. It's the Conga CPQ and the Conga Smart CPQ. That's the former Pro Smart CPQ. And how should customers and partners think about these two offerings today from your point of view?
Yeah, so when I joined Conga about a year ago, we did an extensive build by partner strategy. What are we going to build ourselves? Where are we going to partner? And what are we going to buy? And when we did this evaluation, we made a conscious decision to acquire pricing optimization as well as a CPQ that expands our overall total addressable market. We noticed that Smart CPQ product was really strong based on how it was designed from a technical perspective to serve complex manufacturing, distribution, and travel related use cases. Whereas the Advantage CPQ product, which was the original Conga CPQ product, that product was very heavily designed for technology, health, life sciences, and subscription-based businesses, and had a lot of customers that were heavily relying on a blend of technology and services to solve for their needs specifically. So both of these CPQs serve two different market segments and completely two different use cases, and it's enabled us to expand our reach to offer a CPQ solution to a wide variety of customers and more industries as a combined unit.
And the question I see from customers, Rohit, is they want to know are both products expected to continue, right? Will they converge over time or do they serve different long-term use case? What would you say to that?
Yeah, they both will continue to operate. What this has enabled us to do, Frank, is given us the opportunity to have a very targeted innovation for those specific vertical markets that the CPQs are serving. So Smart CPQ for manufacturing, distribution, and travel gives us a very targeted roadmap to enable building those capabilities for our customers in those specific industries and those use cases. And Advantage CPQ enables us to focus our innovation effort for services like Service CPQ or subscription-related services that are more tied towards those specific use cases and industries. So it's actually helped us accelerate our roadmap and innovation roadmap by giving us targeted use cases to innovate faster and enable us to provide more value to our customers in a more significant, accelerated fashion versus building capabilities that are redundant to each other.
Got it. And with the Pros B2B acquisition, Conga now brings together CPQ, price optimization, contract lifecycle management, and document automation. And where do you see the biggest opportunity from combining these capabilities?
Yeah, it's something that we have started calling within Conga the concept of a commerce chain. Commerce chain is basically a term that we developed by looking at what happened in the physical goods industry when the concept of supply chain was formed, where the optimal physical exchange of goods from point A to point B, and following that optimization, that similar level of optimization that happened in supply chain industry is now, we believe, that can be applied over in a commercial operations within the organization, from quoting to contracting to doc generation, signature, and pricing optimization, all combined together. And following that entire workflow gives us the ability to optimize that entire commerce chain. And additionally, what it does is it enables us to have not only these integrated products, but a unified data model that can provide greater risk intelligence to our customers and insights to our customers to optimize their effective workflows by leveraging more Gen AI or advanced AI capabilities that we have within our pricing optimization models.
And Pros has long been associated, at least from my point of view, with AI-driven pricing and revenue optimization, right? And how is Conga thinking about AI explainability, especially when users want to understand why a price recommendation was made?
Yeah, the pricing explainability is actually our strength. We offer great insights that go beyond just providing segment-based pricing. We explain to the users and our customers how did we arrive at those price points and why we believe that those pricing targets and floor and max pricing not only solves for a recommendation that is based on a neural network approach that we have developed, but we also want to optimize for win rate as well. So it's not just one variable, it's a multiple variables that come together to form an optimal price that also optimizes for win rate and the right business outcomes for our customers.
And Conga has introduced now AME, so AIME, as its AI layer across the platform. And what can Conga customers do with AI today that they could not do 12 months ago?
12 months ago, Frank, we were barely scratching the capabilities around. We had some capabilities to extract information from legal documents and ingest them into our CLM, our contract lifecycle management solution. Since then, we have evaluated multiple different approaches on how we think about AI across the stratosphere of our entire portfolio. And we have found that having not only our AI science that gives us specific pricing recommendations, we've also enabled new capabilities within contract lifecycle management, such as Q&A agent that helps you answer questions in a natural language processing capabilities. We have search agent that helps you look across your entire contract library and help you find specific capabilities within. We have redline agent capabilities that are coming in the very near future that will enable you to make redline recommendations based on your clauses and your clause libraries that you have within your contract. We have, for CPQ, we have sales agents that have capabilities to develop new quotes in an automated fashion. For doc automation, we will have AI capabilities to generate documents on the fly relatively quickly. So AI is now cutting across not only CPQ, but also CLM and doc automation and pricing optimization. We're also combining our AI science capabilities with the Gen AI capabilities to create a more truly differentiated experience for our customers by not only automating the workflow, but by giving them the right pricing guidance in the applications they're currently using. And sometimes without having the customers to not even log into our application by leveraging third-party tools like Anthropic or Claude or others that are in there that they can just automate those capabilities without even logging into the applications themselves.
Got it. Two follow-up questions here. The first one is that the same approach in AI that applies to the former pros and the Conga, or does every team follow a different approach concerning AI?
No, actually, we had quite a bit different approaches on AI in the past, and we have since then unified into a common AI tech stack across both Pros and Conga, and the new Conga that we call it. And now we're leveraging this AI tech stack that will have a unified AI layer that would cut across all of these different products. One of the other things I did not mention earlier is worth mentioning, Frank, is we'll also have the ability for customers to bring their own AI science to that tech stack and add their own unique differentiation. So partners that we are engaged with or customers themselves can add their own AI technology or their own secret sauce into that AI tech stack to create their own unique value proposition and differentiation.
If your company is evaluating CPQ and you're not sure which vendors are actually worth your time, try the free Novo CPQ Briefing Match app. You answer a few questions about your business and requirements, and it gives you a more focused starting shortlist of relevant CPQ solutions. It's meant to save time, reduce noise, and make early CPQ research a lot easier. Go to novocpq.com and click on the CPQ podcast page to find it. Excellent. And then one more question. So, because I see lots of vendors also providing AI for administrators or for system implementers, right? So to set up the rules for products and stuff like that. Since you didn't mention anything there, the explicit question, right? So is there anything that Conga offers in that regard as well?
Absolutely. Actually, one of the personas that we are solving for is the administrators. We want to enable our customers and users to not be dependent on IT or another organization to have them configure their products. And so they can make these requests leveraging our AI tech stack and Amy to ask for those configurations to be done without having to be extremely technical and get those configurations done for them on the fly.
Excellent. Then one other question still concerning AI is also about the agents. I see every vendor is talking about it, every customer is asking about it. What I just wonder is how many customers do you see today that use it today to a critical extent, and how many are just trying to get acquainted with it to start using it?
Yeah, there is a huge appetite. We have hundreds of customers that are currently using our AI technology already, and we expect that there will be more and more users using as we develop more and more of these agentic capabilities, leveraging our new AI tech stack. More agents will be formed and developed, and we expect a exponential adoption of the AI technology as we go into the second half of this year into next year.
Excellent. Then another question. I hope that was the last one I had on AI. But anyway, so from customers, I see very often also the question, how should I pay for AI, right? So, and in a simple way, you could say, hey, I'm a person, I work 8 hours a day. The agent is available 3 times as much. So the price is probably 3 times as much. Or is it? Or is it maybe 5 times? Or is it 10 times? So, and then on the other hand, I also see vendors where you say, okay, so you have the capabilities right now, but customers are not using it. They are not sure what it costs. So I offer it for free for a time and then I change it afterwards. I was just wondering, what's your approach to making AI more useful and affordable to your customers?
That's a great question, Frank. This is something that we are changing within Conga. We have a seat-based approach on AI today, and that is very traditional or legacy, I would say we're moving to a consumption-based model where AI will be part of the solutions you buy in, and there'll be a certain amount of AI that you can get to use for free, because AI should be another feature of every solution that any of the products that you buy. There is a certain level of AI that is expected to come with the product, and it's embedded into the product itself with no charge at all. As customers consume more and more agentic capabilities and they utilize this, we will allow for customers to be able to buy more consumption-based thresholds of buying those AI credits that they can consume more. As they consume more, they'll be able to add more value, and hence they likely pay more for it.
And now I want to ask you something that was a topic for Conga before, especially with the large quotes and large cards. Performance remains an important topic in enterprise CPQ, right? So, and how do you think about performance and scalability as product priorities?
Excellent question, Frank. We were throttled and were limited in providing a high number of hard items as well as certain amount of performance, because we were highly dependent on being on a platform that had certain governor limits that were tied onto that platform. And since then, we have invested heavily over the last few years by building and enabling customers to come over to an Advantage platform, which offers a lightweight integration into various different CRMs as well as ERPs in the ecosystem. And that lightweight integration enables the customers to run their specific performance characteristics or their processes on our Advantage platform. And that creates a unique differentiation, because that enables the customers to have a high amount of scalability and high throughput and performance without having to be restricted by the governor limits of the traditional platforms that are available.
Got it. So now many customers struggle with technical depth after an implementation, right? And what can product teams do to make CPQ environments easier to maintain over time?
That's a fantastic question. In the past, as this industry evolved over the last 2 decades, there was a lot of capabilities that was lacking inside the product itself, because it was a new industry that was being formed, and a lot of that capability was built by doing customizations on top of the existing product. Those customizations also created some challenges with performance and latency and scalability. Now the product has evolved to a certain level of maturity where most of these capabilities are now being offered out of the box. And hence our approach is also shifted and changed. We are encouraging customers and working with our partners to deploy the capabilities as much out of the box as possible, and only customize or integrate into unique models or unique applications when it's absolutely necessary. Otherwise, we are leveraging more third-party solutions. We have done an OEM relationship with Workato as an integration layer for us to integrate with other solutions that are out there, as for example, and that enables us to leverage those standard industry platforms to offer integrations into CRMs and ERPs effectively without having to build custom bespoke connections that we had done in the past.
Excellent. I want to go back to something you mentioned a minute ago. That was that Conga has historically been strongly associated, obviously, with Salesforce. But you have a while ago expanded into the Microsoft ecosystem, right? So how important are the Microsoft Dynamics 365 and Azure to Conga's product strategy at this point?
Microsoft is a very important partnership we have. We believe in our Salesforce partnership, and we are continuing to strengthen our relationship with Salesforce, but we also see a huge market opportunity to expand into new ecosystems, such as Microsoft Dynamics, and HubSpot even. So we believe that there are opportunities for us to expand our ecosystem into these new CRMs, but also we want to be connecting on the ERP side as well. So we are working with Ariba, SAP, and even NetSuite as potential integration opportunities for us on the ERP side to ensure that we are integrating on both the CRM as well as the ERP side, leveraging the similar platform I mentioned earlier, which is Workato.
Yeah. And what should the customers that don't use your Salesforce solution, right? What should they know about your direction and the maturity of the platform in the non-Salesforce environments?
Yeah, the maturity of the platform, there were some gaps. As I came into the organization about a year ago, we have quickly worked hard and prioritized what we believe were necessary gap fillers. From a platform perspective, we have plugged a lot of those gaps already. We obviously are innovating aggressively on adding new and new capabilities and adding new extensibility capabilities onto the platform, which is going to further strengthen the ability for customers to adopt the platform effectively. So we are very bullish and very excited about the readiness of the platform and continuing to innovate on that platform and adding more and more capabilities to build on top of it, including the AI tech stack I just mentioned earlier, which runs on a unified data model that sits on the platform itself.
Then let's switch over to documentation and self-serviceability, right? Because these are frequent topics in CPQ. And how do you think about documentation, configuration examples, and admin experience as part of the product itself?
Extremely important. So we have also integrated the organization functionally that does technical documentation at Conga. They're part of the product organization. So as we are innovating and developing new capabilities, the technical documentation gets evolved and gets added on much earlier on in the innovation cycle versus they were being done much later on as an after fact. So we have integrated that entire lifecycle from a product development perspective to ensure that we are now creating documentation as needed. We're also adding on new tooling and capability, such as usage and analytics from companies like Pendo that gives us great instrumentation on how customers are using our product, what is their usage, what's their adoption, and leveraging those insights into making more informed decisions on how we innovate and where we innovate and where there are friction points that our customers are suffering from so we can proactively address them from a product innovation perspective.
Got it. Another very interesting question for Chief Product Officer, I thought, is to see how you put together the roadmap, right? So I guess you probably get tons of different requirements from different parties. How do you prioritize what you're working on next and what has to wait a little longer?
Yeah, that's a great question, and there is never a shortage of ideas that come from not only customers and both internal and external customers on where we need to innovate. We use a very simple formulaic approach on how we prioritize. We use an ROI-based stack rank approach. Actually, we're doing our stack rank this week in Houston. We're all together, and we're going through a stack rank exercise. And what we do is we identify based on business outcomes. We say which capabilities provide the greatest value to our customers and hence will generate the most adoption. And with that adoption comes incremental revenue. We also see where the pain points are with existing customers that are suffering from a retention perspective. If customers are unhappy, then we don't want a large base of customers that are unhappy. So we are very targeted around our ICP, which are our target customers that we want to keep happy and make sure that we are serving them really well. And we understand that. So we capture not only the net new revenue growth, but also where we can maximize retention and avoid churn into the equation. We also look for cost efficiency. And then we divide that by the effort of how much effort does it take to build it. So we look for pervasiveness, in essence, for the features and capability. We want to make sure that it's serving the right ICP, our ideal customer profile, and our investment is going to have the maximum return in that allocation. That's how we prioritize our roadmap.
Excellent. That makes sense in theory. Then let's look at the praxis now for the next 12 to 24 months. What product changes should Conga customers expect to feel most directly in their daily work?
Yeah, over the next 12 to 24 months, customers should expect more and more integration between the various different products like Smart CPQ and our CLM product, as an example. We have already integrated pricing optimization with both the CPQs, as we demonstrated at Conga Connect. We also expect that we will build on more capabilities that I mentioned earlier that are directly tied to the specific use cases for the vertical markets, such as for Advantage CPQ, expect a renewed digital sales room capability to help sellers and buyers interact with each other in a collaborative space and environment. Having service CPQ capabilities. For pricing optimization, expect simulation capabilities that gives better transfer explainability and guidance on what the pricing optimization recommendations are, and so on and so forth, right? For CLM, expect us delivering on our promise of solving for enterprise CLM capabilities, not just buy side and sell side, but the entire organization, and truly solving for enterprise CLM. Expect new AI capabilities that I talked about earlier across the portfolio, which will transform not only the workflows, but provide greater intelligence, both from a contracting perspective, but also from quoting and price optimization and doc generation and automation perspective.
Super interesting. I guess we could go on here for a long time, but we have to come to the end of this episode. Hence my last question. What's a good way for interested listener to contact you or your team if they have any questions regarding the purple Conga?
Yeah, you can always contact me on LinkedIn. I do check it, not very frequently, but on a regular basis. So you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'd be happy to connect with you and answer any questions you may have. But you can always reach out to info@conga.com.
Perfect. We will have all this information as always in the show notes. Rohit, thank you very much for making time for the CPQ podcast today.
Super. Nice. Thanks for having me on this, and look forward to having more of these conversations, Frank, in the future.
I'd like to thank everyone for listening and hope you learned something interesting today. If you like the podcast, please go ahead and rate it on iTunes or share it with your friends and colleagues. In the meantime, you can find us online at www.novocpq.com. So long, everyone.